Welcome to the channel once more. So here we're gonna create a typed React Native drawer using React Native CLI. So we will basically be working with navigation. In this case, in our app we're gonna have the drawer, and we're gonna have a stack navigation. So the app that you see right now was created using the starter create React Native app, but then we used the -- TypeScript template. So it was generated with a TypeScript template. So I'm gonna put a link for you in the description on how you can actually set up what I've done here. So it's just like generating a create React Native app with TypeScript. Okay, cool. So whenever you create that app, this is what's gonna happen. This is how it's gonna come up. So you're gonna get your default starter app, and then this is everything that you can do. You can just check on other tutorials if you're not familiar how you can generate a React Native app. But let's assume that you do. So here now we're gonna set up navigation for this app, which is the tab navigation. So before we do that, I want to maybe first clean up what we have here. So I'll simply delete everything that we have here, and then just put in like basic text, React Native functional elements. So I'm just putting in a really basic component. So I'll also just take safe area view. Okay, just gonna wrap my app in a safe area view. So you'll see that I'm also gonna I am gonna change this safe area view and import it from safe area view context. So that's what I'm gonna do, but for now we're just gonna keep it like that. So you just see we have the app here. So what we're trying to do, trying to get it fully typed, drawer navigation app. That's what we're trying to do in this tutorial. So that's fine. Control B to bring out my sidebar here. So what I'm gonna do now is that I'm gonna, in the root folder, I'm gonna create a source folder, src. Right. In my source folder, I'm gonna create another folder called navigation. So in the navigation folder, that's where we're gonna have all the logic for navigation. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna create another folder which I'm gonna call screens. As the folder says, this is where we're gonna have all our screens. And at the moment, let's just create 3 screens. The first screen is gonna be home.tsx. Then we're just gonna have a basic app there, which is just doing nothing. And then I'm also gonna have probably like a details.tsx. And then let's just throw in one more, which we're gonna call settings. So in essence, now we have three screens on this app. So I think right now we are ready to actually start putting the logic for navigation. So what's gonna happen is that you want to have, so we're gonna install the dependencies as we go. So what I'm gonna do now, under navigation, I'm gonna create a folder. I'm gonna create a file called root navigator .tsx. So what root navigator does, that it's basically, this is like the main app that, and all the navigation logic is going to happen here. We not going to work with the app.tsx, mainly going to put all the logic here. So I'm going to just put it like a simple React Native function. So I'm just going to simply work with this guy. So that means then I'm gonna go to app.tsx, and then I'm just gonna, what I'm gonna do is that I'm just gonna import that file. So what happens, gonna here, gonna say root navigator, but then we have to import root navigator from source, navigation, and root folder. So that's fine. So I'm gonna remove this, and probably the safe area view as well, just to keep the fragment. I'm gonna save that. Then I'm gonna come here. So I'm gonna go to, just gonna close home, close details, close settings, then go to the root navigator. So we currently have the root navigator there. It's gonna just say safe area view. So we have the safe area view now, which is working there. So what we're gonna do here is that we are going to have to we're gonna do our first import now. So we want to wrap the whole app in a navigation container. So in navigation container, we'll ensure that all the navigation logic will happen in the whole app. Since in our app.tsx we already imported the root navigator, so that means in all the navigation logic we're going to keep it in that root navigator. So if I go here, so that means then now we have to import navigation container. So we're gonna get this navigation container from a React Native navigation /native. So that means then what we have to do now, we have to import, so yarn add navigation react dash navi. I'm gonna put all the imports that you're gonna do in the description, just in case you wanna get that. So /native, so yarn add React Native, React Navigation Native. So we're just gonna keep that going. Okay, then we're gonna import. So now we can simply import it from React navigation container from React navigation / native. So we're gonna do it like that. Okay, I'm happy with that. So what we're gonna do after this is that we are going to have now, so inside the navigation container we're gonna have all the screens that are gonna, like, mainly we're gonna have a stack which has all the screens in our app, or in other words, we're gonna have React navigation stack. So here we're gonna have like our main stack. So at the moment we don't have that, so that means then we have to go to this folder and create a new file called mainstack.tsx. Mainstack.tsx will contain all the screens. So what we have to do here, similar to, so what we have to do here, we have to import like stack navigation. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna import stack navigation. So I'm gonna come here, Command K to clear, and then I'm gonna say yarn add React navigation /stack navigation /native, because we're gonna use the native version, native stack. Yarn add React navigation /stack. Okay, I'm happy with that. So we can import that into our app. Okay, perfect. So we have that working. So what I'm gonna do now is that I have to wrap everything in a navigator, in a stack navigator. So what we're gonna do now is that we're gonna say const stack is equal to create native stack navigator. Okay, and then so let's gonna put it like this. And then what we're gonna do now, we're gonna wrap Control-T. So we're gonna say stack dot navigator. Okay, so after we say stack dot navigator, so that means then inside the stack dot navigator we can have all our screens. We're gonna have all the screens here. So you'll see that we're having a problem here, and this problem is coming with it's a types. So it just shows that we haven't yet imported this function. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna import it from we're gonna import it from at React Native slash renavigation slash native stack. Okay, that's good. And then what's gonna happen here is that we still have to add a type as well. We'll have to add a type to this stack. So I'll put a note here that stack will receive a main stack param list. So this is a type. So we're just saying what's the format of the screens that are gonna be received by the app. That's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna add that here. So it will be something like this. So like your normal TypeScript, and then we're gonna add the type there. But for now, let's not do that. For now, let's go to let's add our screens. So we already have our screens. So I'm gonna import app screens here. Okay, so the first one we're going to import is home. Import home from, so home, it's in the screens folder /home, and then that's it. And then we're gonna come here, and then we're gonna say stack dot screen, and then we give it a name. In this case, the name here will be home, and then the component will be home again. And then we're just gonna wrap that, and then we're gonna have another stack dot screen. In this case, we have details, and then the component will be details, and we have to import details from the app screens. Perfect. And then I'm gonna add the settings as well. Gonna just have one more for the settings. I'm gonna say stack dot screen, and then we're gonna take a name. So in this case it will be settings. Okay, then we have to import settings from the source folder or from the screens. Okay, that works. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm in the root file. I'm gonna have to import our main stack from main stack. Okay, I'm gonna save that. So what actually happens now, we have to import other, because we're using like the stack navigator. For stack navigator to work, we have to import React Native screens. So that's what we're gonna have to do now. So we're gonna say yarn. So we're gonna say yarn add React native React native dash screens. And then while we add it, we must know that there's still other things that we'll have to import. So if I go now to the home screen, then I just save it, then I'll go here, I'll go to the app.tsx, make sure I saved everything there. Just gonna do this. So what I'm gonna do now is that I'm gonna also, while I'm installing, I'm just gonna install React Native safe area context. So I'm gonna say Command K to clear everything, then say yarn add React Native safe area context. Yarn add React Native safe area context. Okay, so we're gonna install that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna go to the iOS folder and then install all my pods. So I'm gonna say cd iOS, then go pod install. While that's going, so we know that we gonna have a drawer. So at the moment we just have our main screens, we have our home settings, and then the detail screen. So what we're gonna do, let's just make sure everything is there. So on package.json, let's see if safe area view is there. Okay, cool. So we're just gonna restart the app. Just gonna restart the app. Let's go to this folder here. let's just also add probably see safe area views there. Probably gonna need yarn add react native gesture handler. Gesture React native gesture handler. Gesture handler. Then after we import gesture handler, we have to make sure that we add it at the top level of our app, either index or app.js. So we're just gonna go to app.js and make sure that the first thing that we do is to the things that we don't need here. We don't need the style sheet, so we can delete that there. So we can delete that. And then we can import. Let's import. I'm just close that there. I'm gonna import React native gesture handler. Okay, looks good to me. I'm gonna save that. Then we're gonna come here. Okay. Gonna say cd iOS and then port install, just to make sure all the ports are installed. Okay, so we're gonna clear that, command K, and then say yarn iOS to run the iOS simulator. Now simply starting the app. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, we gonna just check if the app is gonna run. But apart from that, we're gonna go to our navigation folder. So currently we have the main stack, and then we have the root navigator. The root navigator is the whole app, so it's wrapped in a navigation container. And then we have the main stack, which is the stack that the stack navigation that we just added. What we're gonna add now is the third navigation, which is the drawer. We're gonna call it drawer.tsx. So the drawer.tsx will contain all the logic for the drawer navigation. So at the moment, I'm just gonna call it. Gonna make sure that we just import everything and then just save it like that. Okay, the app is starting up now. So yeah, so we have the default. So we have the home, and then we can simply add a button. For example, if we go to the screens and then we go to home, and then below home, we're just gonna add a button here. And then the button will have a title of, and then on press you want to navigation dot navigate. Navigate to details. Okay, let's wrap that there. Let's import the button from rig navigation. Let's import navigation here. Okay, let's save that there. Let's give it a name. Go to details. Okay, we see everything is working nicely. It's going to details when we press go to details. So our stack is working. Here we still have to, currently it has the type any, and we still have, so we have to sort that out. So the way we're gonna do that, is that we're gonna create a new, so I'm gonna create a new folder here, which I'm gonna name types, and the types folder will contain all the logic for all the types for the app. So that's what we're gonna do. But before that, let's add the drawer navigation so that we can just simply work on one thing. So we're gonna sort out all the types as we go. So okay, the drawer is like this. So let's sort out the types. So I'm gonna create, under the source folder, I'm gonna create a new folder which I'm gonna call types. And then under the types, I'm gonna give one called say navigation dot types. So this will contain the logic or the types for navigation. So what we're gonna do there is that we're gonna first, so what we're gonna do here, we have to remember then what do we have. So we have the first one is the main stack. So we have our main stack. If we go to navigation, we have our main stack. Our main stack has these screens, so we have to define the types for that. So we're simply gonna say export, because we're gonna import this type in that main stack folder. So we're gonna call it main stack param list. Okay, and then we're gonna have home, which will be undefined. Home is undefined because it's not really passing any value or anything like that. So that's what we're gonna give it at the moment. So we're gonna give it undefined. And then we're gonna have search. We're gonna have details. At the moment, when we move to details, we're not sending information there. We're not sending any params. If maybe we're sending params to details, so then this will change slightly. I can demonstrate that. So if we go to the screens, so if we go to the screens and then we go to the button, so what actually happens now is that when we click on next, so when you go to the details, I want to pass in an ID. So I'm going to pass in an ID, and then that ID will be okay. In fact, we can pass in a title. Then the title will be the title will be Questa Studios. Okay, cool. So we're gonna save that there. So what happens now, we're saying that when you press on details, so seems like we're having a problem here. Okay, so we're gonna solve that there. So we're gonna put that here. Let's just save that. So when you go to details, we want to get that title. So I'm gonna now then go to details, and then inside details we're gonna receive the param. So under details we're gonna receive the parameter, which is that ID, and the way we do that, we have to, okay, there are two ways of doing it. So you can use the hooks, which is the whereby you can take the params, to get that value there. We're gonna use params. So use param is a hook which gives you access to the root object. So under that root object, you have all your parameters, and in this case we only have one parameter, which is that title. So we're saying that when you press the button which says go to home, we want to pass in the data there. So the way we're gonna do that here, we're gonna first import use root from React Navigation / native, and then after that we're gonna create a constant for that use root, which is the root, and then from there you're gonna have a text, and then your text you're gonna have your use root, and then which takes in params, and then you have your title, and then just like that we are passing in the data. So that's fine. So that means then now when we go back to our type, we're saying that the navigation, the detail screen will take in, it will take in a type, and then that type will be a text file. So we're gonna say that, so title, and then this is type string. Okay, and then settings doesn't take in anything, so it will be undefined. I hope this is clear. So at the moment what we're gonna do now is that everything that we have here is correct, so that means then we can just simply save this and then go to our main stack, and then we have to pass in that that type. So let's just import it from, so we're gonna main stack and then import it from types navigation, which is there. We're gonna save that. Everything's working nicely, and then we're gonna go to the detail screen. We're gonna go to home. So we see home, it's expecting a type for that navigation, so we already know the type of that. So the type for here is that main param. So the type here is also main param list, but you'll see that we're still getting an error there. This is because that main params, that main stack type is coming, it's gonna be coming from the native stack screen, so we have to import like props for the native stack, which is coming from React Navigation. So that means then we have to native stack screen props. Okay, this is coming from React, so we have to import this. Import and React Native stack, yeah. Let's see if we're doing everything nicely. Okay, then we have to import our types here. This is the one coming from there. Okay, everything's working nicely. So everything is fully typed here. So we can also set up the types here in the detail screen. So that means then we have to set in navigation there. And then the types here will be similar to the types that we have on the home screen. So I can literally copy that. Okay, we have to import this guy there. Then we also have to import this one here. Okay, so I think we doing it. Okay. Okay, so this should be fine. So we're saying that the root params should be taking, this will take in okay, let's see if we can go and add types for the detail screen. So if I go to navigation and then we want to add types for the router or the user root, so we have to first import type root prop from at React Native Great Navigation. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, we gonna export type details screen root prop. Root prop, then this will take in our main stack param list, which is up there, and then this will also take in details. Happy with that. Okay, so let's go to our detail screen, and then here we're gonna simply, so this coming from this root, we have to define the props here, of which will be that the type that we just imported. So this coming from, so it's detailed screen props. It's coming from types and navigation. So we have that going, and everything is working as we want. So everything is working nicely. So from here, what we can do now, like if you simply wanted a fully typed stack navigation, this is it. This is it. So I'm gonna create a branch which should say patient. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, we gonna add the drawer. So we want a drawer. So to do the drawer, we gonna go to, gonna create another branch, say fully typed drawer navigation. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, we simply gonna go to, so some things that we won't need, like the styles, we won't need all of that. So we can simply remove everything here. For the drawer, there are some things that we have to import, for example, because like now we will have to import, for example, reanimated, because it uses, we're gonna use those gestures from reanimated. So let's do that. So I'm simply gonna go to the terminal and I'm gonna add, so I'm gonna add yarn add react dash native dash gesture handler. We have that guy going, so we can simply go to our navigation. We'll simply go to our navigation here, and then we have to add the logic for the drawer navigation, of which it should be simple enough in the sense that so we're gonna have const drawer drawer is equal to create drawer navigator. Okay, then we have to import this. No, we have to import create drawer navigator from React Native drawer. Okay. So we have to add React Native drawer. This will allow us to have the drawer. While that's installing, we simply have to we can add the logic that we want here. For example, we know that we have to wrap everything option, so we have to wrap everything in a drawer.navigator right, and then we're gonna have our screens here. We can simply call them drawer screens here. Right, so let's save that. Let's just go back. So here first screen we're gonna say drawer dot screen, and then the first screen we're gonna have to have the home. We're gonna have home, and then component for that is home. So this means then we have to import the home screen. There we go. Screens import. And then what else we're gonna have? We're gonna have the settings. We're gonna have settings. So drawer.screen name is settings. And then the component will be settings as well, and then we have to import the settings screen. Did we do it correctly? Or did we do it not correctly? Okay. No, we imported it from the wrong library. So perfect. Yes. So now that's done, so we need to link the drawer to the root navigator. So if we go to the we're gonna link it to the stack, to the main stack. So we have to import here the drawer. So here the first component will be the drawer. So we have to import the drawer from drawer, and then we're gonna just change the name there to drawer. I'm gonna save that. Let's see what error are we gonna get. So let's ensure that, let's just Command K, Command P. Let's just reinstall again React-native reanimated. Let's just make sure it's there. What do I do? Oh, yarn add. So yarn add React Native reanimated. Let's just make sure that's there. Yarn add React native reanimated. And then after this we just have to pod install. Okay, so let's just go back now. So this error here is because we haven't defined it in our types, so we'll have to go back to our types and define everything. So I'm gonna now go to here, Command K, I'm gonna pod install. So what's gonna happen now is that you almost have to go to our, since we installed reanimated, so we have to just import it in the as a plugin here on your Bible config. So we're gonna just say, okay, so we're gonna say plugins, and then under plugins we gonna add React Native reanimated slash plugin. Okay, should be it. And then we have to just yarn iOS to start up the iOS simulator. So what we're gonna do now is simply to add. So we're just gonna fix our types, because what we see now is that like the main stack is not expecting the drawer. So that means then we have to go to our types and then tell it that we also gonna give it a drawer, and then that drawer will be undefined. So when you come here, the drawer is on yes. And then what else we're gonna do here is that we're just gonna go to the drawer, and then we're just gonna make sure that all the types work there. So when it comes to the drawer, let's just check if everything is fine here. So we have the settings, and then we have home. Yes, everything looks fine. And then we can simply just start up the app. Yeah, iOS. So here we have to fix this error with the bubble that rename it is. So that means then we have to say yarn start -- reset the cache, and then make sure that the plugin is imported correctly. So just after that, after you reset everything, the app should come up. So okay, there we go. I think maybe as the last thing that we can do under the stack navigation, so we can just pass in some screen options. So under the navigation for the stack, we can pass in some screen options here, and we can just say that let's see, we have this, everything's working nicely. So we can just say here screen options, and then we say header. Screen options is equal to header shown yes, we're gonna give that a false. Okay, perfect. So everything that is looking nicely on the app now. So I think that should be all for this tutorial. So I'll just push everything and I'll put it on my GitHub repo. Look out for the next tutorials as we build this app into a fully functional app. Cheers y'all, have a great one.